Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and Happy New Year! This is the first video we are recording of 2020 in 2020. I know State of the Realm hit YouTube on January 1st, but that was recorded the day before. Now for this video, we're going to be looking at Yoshi-P's New Year's greeting. It's a little blurb that's written up and translated into the various language for Final Fantasy XIV, where he expresses some gratitude for the player base, talks about some recent happenings of the year, whether it be an expansion launch, fan fest, traveling, whatever it may be. And then gives us a little teaser of something related to the main scenario that we can look forward to. And since we are patiently waiting for the conclusion of Shadowbringers in 5.2 and 5.3, there's a lot riding on the message here and a lot of interpretation that can go into it. So for the beginning here, like I said, he even uses the word express my gratitude right here. Talks about going all over the world, the 3 fan fests, the orchestral concerts, as well as the fan fest in China and South Korea. While they don't share a global version of the game, Yoshi-P still does make appearances at those fan festivals as well. Now, talking about the development of the game, 5.18 had just released, and 5.2 they said is mostly ready now. However, for the beginning of the year, coming back from vacation, they're going to be testing bugs, carrying out adjustments for patch 5.2, which is currently planned for mid-February. That means it's either February 11th or 18th. I've been holding out on February 18th as my predicted date, so we'll see if that comes to fruition. It's exactly 16 weeks after the previous major patch. Now, to bring a close to the critically acclaimed Shadowbringers, 5.2 and 5.3 form 2 halves of a single chapter. There's lots of surprises in store in the first half, so please look forward to it. Of course, the first half we are going to be getting in that mid-February. Some people thought Shadowbringers was ending in 5.2 for some reason, which I guess based on the wording from the most recent live letter kind of made a little bit of sense for the misinterpretation, but expansion stories come to a head in the 0.3 patches, so no reason to have thought that it was going to go any different. 5.3 is going to be one of major import. Now here we go. Every year we get some sort of little poem or journal entry or rhyme or something that teases us. Now last year I had a hard time figuring out how I really felt about it. This year there's 2 or 3 ideas that jumble around the noggin. So this year's from For What Are Warriors of Light but earnest souls of good intent, resolved to do that which is right regardless of the consequence. Now there are a lot of potential meanings to that. The most obvious one right off the bat without digging any deeper would be that we are about to do something that is going to be of major consequence. Now, that has a lot of meanings. I mean, the fact that we are doing what we are doing against the Ascians and against Zodiark has a consequence in its own. It's just for the preservation of current life versus the return of old life. But that doesn't mean there isn't some form of consequence behind it. We've often been tested and had our resolve tested throughout the beginning and the beginning half of Shadowbringers, the 5.0 and 5.1 story. And as we work towards this conclusion of the Zodiark storyline, there are still some questions about what will be the right and wrong thing to do, especially with the massive battle that is likely ahead with one of our old friends. Now, there are some other ways to dig into this. Warriors of Light and the idea that doing what is right regardless of consequence. There are others that have taken attempts at certain activities that would, they might see themselves as a warrior of light. And that's, of course, in the form of the Ascians. Regardless of the consequence, obviously, I don't think they necessarily want to destroy all life. They want to get back what's theirs, though. And Elidibus has always been one that's kind of met somewhere in the middle. And he is the only remaining unsundered Ascian that we have to deal with. He also, at the end of 5.0, mentioned combating a warrior of darkness with warriors of light, and it is presumed that at the end of 5.1, it is likely him inside of our good old buddy Ardbert's original body. So there's question marks. This warriors of light thing, I have a feeling is either us, and if it's anyone else, it's probably Elidibus. It could even be alluding a little bit to Ardbert to some degree. Obviously, he had his decisions led to the consequence of the first almost being swallowed by a flood of light. There's a little bit of blundering from the Ascians part with that one, though. So, could always be, there's just so many different angles you can look at this, but it's a far more interesting read than the last little bit. But I'm hoping we learn more about the 14th Convocation member. I'm hoping we learn more about the fragmented souls that make up our character's actual being. And I hope this is alluding to that. I mean, with the new dungeon we're getting in 5.2, you know, we're probably going to learn a lot about the actual history of the Ascians, of the Ancients, of everything that happened those fateful 12,000 years ago, if I remember correctly. But this is in the Crystarium's library, of all things. You know, it's not even from the new dungeon, so maybe, I mean, if that's the case, it really sounds like it would be written by somebody who doesn't really blame the Warriors of Darkness, Ardbert and crew, for the Flood of Light. They just did what they thought was right, regardless of the consequence. And then we get a nice little image down here. A reminder that Final Fantasy XIV, it's been almost 10 years. It hasn't been entirely. September 27th, 2010 is the official start date. So we're getting very close to the 10-year mark. But I mean, 2010, it's now 2020, you know, 10 years. You know, let's just call it 10 years. And we are, of course, going to be having fan fests to welcome in the next expansion, 6.0 and on, which I'm really looking forward to, of course. But we got a whole year to worry about that. We got our 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 relics, hopefully deep dungeons, hopefully Blue Mage updates, ultimate savages, new main scenario, dungeons, all these things to look forward to this year. And so I hope you all are looking forward to 2020 as much as I am. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap for me. I've been addicted to this new threat mod for Final Fantasy VII, and I think I need to go grind out some limit breaks before my stream on that tomorrow. So thank you for watching. Hopefully all of you had a happy and safe new year, and hopefully you're looking forward to another year of Final Fantasy XIV news, as well as other Final Fantasy stuff. We got 7 Remake, we got Crystal Chronicles, we got some Kingdom Hearts stuff coming up this month. We got good times ahead. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video, and until then, take care.